Hello and welcome to The Composer's Life. I'm Nadia, your host, and this is the second half of the interview with Sheldon Mirowitz, a professor at Berklee College of Music in the screen scoring department. What led you to start teaching at Berklee?
Oh, they got me. They found me. I had an assistant. He was calling him my assistant is kind of silly. Kurt Beaterwolf. He wrote music for me basically because I got so busy. I needed somebody to help me, and so I found Kurt because I again I was around the corner from Berklee, and that's where my studio was. I was on Newbury Street, and so I found Kurt, and uh, Kurt was in the EPD department, whatever they call it. They would call it synthesis back then, and he knew that they were looking for people to teach film scoring, but there was nobody in Boston who did film scoring, and I actually happened to do film scoring, and so he kind of dragged me over. Uh, and I met with Don Wilkins, who had started this program, and they said, "Oh, just Don is like the world's greatest guy," and he said, "Well, look, this is just come over, just do like a directed study with 4 students." And just teach them that. And that's how I started. And then 25 years later, I'm where I am now. So again, it was just, I wasn't trying to be a teacher. But it turns out that I really like teaching, and I feel like I can make impact
Mm.
as a teacher. So,
Yes, you definitely are one of the professors I remember the most from your class.
yeah.
I think I took contemporary techniques in film scoring from you.
There we
And
go.
I
There we
had
go.
essays from every class,
Oh
basically of
God.
notes.
Oh God.
No, in a
Oh
good
God.
way. In a good way.
Well, yeah. So yeah. I mean, right. I mean, teaching is an unbelievably cool thing to do.
Yeah.
And again, I had great teachers. And so I knew how they taught me. And I just kind of do what they did. I don't, I it's basically, I just do what I saw them do.
Yeah. So
So,
what do you hope your students take away from you?
wow. Well, I want them to take away a whole bunch of things from me. But I think that the main thing, the mainest of the main things is it's your life. Make it do your life, do it yourself, do your life, it's your life, make it do what you do, what matters. And I think that's kind of the central thing I want to get across. um I mean, besides that, uh one of my students asked me the 10 questions about teaching recently, and I had to answer them. And so I've thought about this now because I had to answer those questions. So um, I uh, I think that my general goal in every sort of in a basic, the basicest goal that covers it comes in every class is to learn how to be a beginner. That is to learn how to be able to learn. And the only way you can learn is if you think you don't know. So I think that the first thing that you have to do is you have to introduce to the student kind of the power of not knowing. Because and that also that they basically are constantly lying to themselves, trying to say that they know X, Y, and Z when they don't know anything. And that's that first thing. And then to service their curiosity, to engage their curiosity, to get them curious, and then to help them learn how to service their curiosity. And that so the not knowing and the being curious are the two parts, because not knowing hurts. Not knowing is kind of painful. Not knowing is like, oh, you're just like a you baby, you know, you know. And so it's kind of if you have ego in the game, part of it is you've got to break that, okay. And then on the other side, you've got to kind of go, oh, but look how cool this stuff is, and get just interested in that stuff. And so that's kind of what I go between. I had a again in my education. This, by the way, this is exactly what all of my teachers did. Okay. So they were not as harsh as I am because I did because a lot of my teachers were when I was young, and you don't have harshness in a young person is not usually a good idea.
Mhm.
Um but I had a teacher in college who was really pretty amazing. And one of the things that he taught, the first thing I took from him was a class on Plato. And Plato, Plato writes these dialogues, and the dialogues are around this character who was a person who was Plato's teacher, called Socrates. And what Socrates does in every one of the dialogues is that somebody's on the way to do something, and he kind of stops them, and he gets them kind of lost. And that thing that he tries to introduce, there's a Greek word for it. It's called aporia. And aporia means at a loss. I think that the state of aporia is the precursor to growth. That is, you need to get stopped in your tracks because your tracks are taking you along a path, which, by the way, you didn't make. You have no real ownership over. You're probably just going like most people live like this. And so you need to have something that breaks that so that you can sit and look around and wonder what, like, think. First of all, you sit and wonder around and you think about how you can't do anything and how you're a failure or whatever you are. And then you maybe you have a teacher who says, hey, wait, look, that's not bad. This is okay. This is good. This is not, don't worry. Look around. Look around. Stop your running and just look around for a second. And that's kind of what I think. That's my general goal.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, and in my teaching, I have a really super thing because I teach music to people who want to learn music, and they really want to learn music. And I was one of those people. And I got involved in music. I got involved with music, frankly, because it was a lifeline. I mean, it was, uh, it saved me. And I think that people who get involved with music have that experience, and people who want to spend their time doing it, this is something that really is a lifeline for them. It's a way into the important stuff in life and a way out of things that are painful or difficult and that are overwhelming in some way. And I think that's a great place to start. So anyway, that's what I think.
That's beautiful. I'm emotional actually that
Oh.
you say that because it reminds me of why I got into music as well. And sometimes, um, I don't know, sometimes when you're trying to figure it all out, you kind of question what the point is. But when you remember the point, then you just keep going.
Well, right, and there is an incredible point. I mean, so one of the things that I said in this thing that my student gave me was that uh, what my teacher, Miss Kopecky, did was that she showed me that music can speak something, and that and she showed me that I could speak with it, and that thing was unbelievable. It was unbelievably potent. And so we need to uh I mean, that was like magic. That's kind of the closest I can get to it. And so uh and I think that all of us who are engaged in it are have experienced that magic. I mean, basically everybody experiences the magic because that's what music is. Music is that magical activity. And so, or whatever, it's not magic. I mean, whatever, it's that wondrous activity.
Mhm.
And that is, and everybody who listens to it engages in it in some way. And then for some of us it's like it's really wondrous. And we're like, wait, I'd rather do this. This is what I want to do. And then that's what happens, I think. You
Mm.
know?
Mhm. Yeah.
Anyway, so
When you first receive whatever you're going to be composing for, which might be a film, a commercial, a TV series, whatever it is, what's the first thing that you do? And then what does your creative process look like as you do the project?
well, I watch it. I mean, I really watch. I mean, I don't watch it and think about, oh, I'll put music here, oh, I'll put music here. That's not kind of how I watch it. I watch it to get it, to try to get it and see what I can get of it. Um and then I'll meet with the people. So generally, the first thing you do is what we call spotting, which is it's kind of an interesting way of putting what you do as spotting. What you do is that you watch the thing together and you try to figure out, sort of together, what the music, whether there needs to be music at any particular point, and then what the music needs to do at those particular points. And so that happens at the beginning. Also, that means, because that's what they want to do. That is, they want to talk to you about the movie. They want to see that you get the movie. They want to see kind of, and they want you to get started, because to them it's a little bit mysterious. Kind of, how does anybody take this thing and then they're going to make music and I'm going to love it. And so, and they don't trust that they're going to love it. And so, or they do, and that means they're stupid. No, it doesn't mean they're stupid. It means that they're in some way naive about it. And then, and then, so that you have that conversation. And so by the time I'm done having those early conversations, like the first 3 or 4 days I have with whatever I'm given, or I mean, with a commercial, it happens in a minute. It's very fast, but I don't do commercials really. I mean, that's not true. I do sometimes do commercials, but it takes a sort of period of time to process that stuff. And so that's really the very first part. And that already tells me kind of what this more, but I've watched the movie maybe 4 times by that time, if it's a full movie. All the way through, basically, in a large amount of time. And then the next thing I do is I try to figure out what I'm going to need. So I try to figure out kind of, well, what needs music. Generally, things that need music. So the movie is a story. Everything is a story. Part of this is noticing that everything is a story. There aren't. It's not like it's some picture. We don't decorate picture with music. We don't. That's not a thing. That's not a job. No one will pay you for it. The only people who think that's a job are you and your mother. Who wants to hear you and how great you are at whatever X thing you're doing. So the job is to help tell the story. So you have to find out what the story is. And then the story is going to be built around things, that is, nouns and verbs, things that happen, the things that recur, or the happenings that recur, that come back, or that resonate with each other, or that describe the arc of how the story works. Those things are what I call the themes of the movie. So I try to figure out what the themes are. sort of in the movie, and then I try to figure out which of those themes needs music, and whether those things which are thematic can be held together with a musical thread, which is super powerful. And so that's very early on. I'll do that. And then what I'll do is I'll start working on those themes away from the picture. I will remember the picture. And what I'll do, sort of really what I basically do, is I adjectivize the themes. So I get kind of what the theme is like. Like, what is it like? What does it sound like, basically? Or what does it feel like? What is the feeling of this? And feelings have kind of they have music to them, at least for me. So feelings are musical. And so once I can get the feeling strong, then I can start understanding that there's some aspect, there's going to be some identifying stuff about each of the different thematic items that I'm going to need. And then I generally figure out, well, that means that I'm going to use these kind of sounds. I come up with my orchestra right at the very beginning. Whatever that orchestra, I don't use the same orchestra for every movie. I'm always making new. Sometimes I'll write for triangle and musicals I haven't done. But I mean, it could be like that. I mean, usually it's not. I try not to have some things that I always do. And that includes things like using strings. I mean, I try just not to do that unless I have to move really quickly, and then I'll start with whatever I have to have. Again, time is a huge issue in all of this. So you have to do this very quickly. And so that's that. There's that. So generally what I've just described to you will be kind of, and then I'll write some thematic material using as a basis kind of these sounds that I know I'm going to be using. And I kind of make the structure of the score kind of, or the stuff, the elements of the score that I can use. And those things I call theme pieces. And I always write theme pieces. So I write a piece of music that covers this thing. Maybe it's the girl. Maybe it's Chicago. Maybe it's whatever needs a theme. And then in the story, and that can use it, that music can do that in the story. And then, and then I can write that music. And I do it remembering the places where it would be in the movie and thinking about kind of how that works. And because I'm writing multiple things, how they relate to each other. And I do all of that away from the picture. Not away, I just don't write to picture. I have the picture. And then I will then have, generally that's about a week of time. I just described kind of the first week. If I have like a 6-week period of time, that's like the first week. I try to make a lot of it happen in the front. I do this out of self-defense. It turns out that when you write a score, you're going to use themes, whether you know or not. I tried early on. I tried to write something without themes. It turned out I had themes. I had no idea they were themes. I went, oh, wow, that's a theme. I'm using that again. That thing I did there, I used it again. Why did I do that? Well, because it was actually a theme. And so, this theme production part of it is a way of not having to rewrite. Because what happens if you start writing cues is that you write the first cues and they are wrong. They're just wrong. And if you start with big important cues and they're wrong, you've got so much that you have to rewrite. It's totally screwed up. So what I generally do is I'll try to get I'll take this and I'll play it for whoever I'm working for. And they're not sketches. They sound like complete pieces of music. I mean, they sound great.
Mhm.
I sometimes have people come in and play on them. I'm really kind of psycho about it. Because if I need to have if I'm thinking like, oh yeah, I need to have a slide guitar and I don't play slide guitar, then I'm going to bring Duke, my friend Duke, in and he'll play slide guitar on these early pieces so that I have it so that they can kind of hear what I have in mind. And then, so those things uh, allow me to start somewhere towards the front of the movie, but not at the very front of the movie. And I will start by writing a handful of cues, sometimes that are related to each other, that are in the beginning part of the movie. Never the first one or two cues, never those two. I wait on those. Those are the last things I write. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then I try to go chronologically if I can. I like to write the score in order because then I can feel the resonances building up. I can feel the music working in the movie. I can watch it develop. I can see it move. I can get the throw of the movie and how it's working. And that that's a really important thing too. I can't always do it. It depends on time and what they need and when they're doing it. And so that's the process that I use. And then I go, and after I sort of get to the end and I get everything to happen and I've got like, this is working. I have to feel like it's working in some way. I'm not capable of writing and not thinking that it's working. I'm just not capable of it. It's a failure or whatever. I don't know how to write something I don't believe. I just don't know how to do it. It doesn't come out of me. I can't do it. So, and then I go back and then I write the beginning, sort of. And in the meantime, I'm cleaning up all the things that didn't work because, you write things multiple times. Some things don't work for a long time. They don't work. Mm-hmm. And so you have to find out how to make them work. That's my process. Does that sound like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I get it.
Okay. And there's an enormous amount of feedback from the people I work with. Mm-hmm. Without them, I'd be no place. They are the secret. The way that you write a good score is that you write it for somebody who's a good filmmaker. You want to know what the real secret to making a good score? It's not you. It's them. It's how they see the movie, how they get you to work, how they get what you're doing, how you get what they're doing. That's for whatever that's worth.
Do you work chronologically or does it depend on the film?
It depends on the film. I very prefer to do that. Again, mostly the hardest thing when you write cues is to know how they work together. Like you need to make time to watch the movie together. You never have that time. So you never do. It's like it's never there. But if you can have it, it's really helpful. And if you're writing in a row, you know that you had that cue, you have it. As a matter of fact, I import the cue into the next cue. I mean, I import it unless there's like a minute between them. I deal with everything as if it's an overlap. I mean, to me, the audience shouldn't hear that there's a cue. It doesn't make any sense. Why do they care if it's a cue? So it isn't really a thing. So I'm looking at it I'm trying to look at it as though it's a continuous thing. And in the time crunches that we have, it's almost impossible to do that. So you have to rely on the editor and the filmmaker to kind of do that and to see it, but you have to make time to look at it. Because if you don't, which is really fucked up because you are like, I mean, you're working 60 or 70 hours in a week, and this is going to take another couple hours to watch this thing and to think about it and to talk about it, and you don't really have it. So, so yeah, there's that. I mean, again, I'm really, really. So there's another thing I haven't sort of talked about. It's really important, and that is that you have to live inside the movie. That is, you as a person who's making the movie, you need to, uh, you can't write music at the movie. You can't write at it. You can't write on it. You have to write in it. The music has to be in the movie. It's got to come out of the movie, and it has to be in the movie. That means you have to be there. You have to be there, and that means that you have to be feeling the movie. Film music is almost entirely, for me, about feeling. I mean, it didn't used to be. When I started off, I thought it was like, oh, I can make this happen here, I make this happen, and do this and do that. I can do and cut. I can do that cut, and that also, that basically has nothing at all to do with what film music really does. What film music really does is that it allows the audience to be in the movie. So it invites them into the movie sort of through your experience of being in the movie. And so if you are not feeling the movie, if you are not inside the movie and feeling the things that are happening whenever you are writing music to sort of make that feeling happen, then you can't do that. You're going to be painting by numbers. And I think painting by numbers makes no sense. I think that what you have to do is you have to react. So there's an acting lesson that they teach my kids. Two kids go to acting school. The acting school, you learn how to react. You don't learn, there is no such thing as acting. There's reacting. You have to be in a way where you can react naturally from within the character to the situation the character is in. That's how one acts. And so that is what we have to do. We have to be able to be in the movie enough so that when something is happening and it's calling for music, that we are letting the movie, as it were, speak its feeling through us. And then we can be completely reactive. And when we are in that level of exceptional reactivity, what we are doing is, I used to say, I feel like a bell that's ringing. I feel like something has hit me and I'm resonating it, and and this is the sound I make. This is how this is my reaction to that scene. And all the other stuff, which has to do with all the stuff you learn about music and about film score shit and all of this stuff, all that stuff you learn is just the mechanics that you need to have so that you can ring like a bell. You need to be, basically, the physics of it is that you have to make yourself to be a bell, or I have some wind chimes that sometimes ring with they don't hit because the air is going by them and they're tuned to a note and it's going at a thing so that they can vibrate. And that is, sounds like very huda. But that's actually what I think we do, and that's really why. So, and that's how you write a lot of music, and that's how you write quickly. So they all go together.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't they aren't, that's all. That's kind of, and so the best practice, as it were, is to be in moments in something in your life, in reacting to a thing that you heard or a thing that you saw or something, and then having that moment make you be someplace and then listen to what that being there it sounds like. I mean, it's basically what I do. I mean, I'm just listening mostly.
Do you ever have moments where you have a hard time?
Oh, all the time. All the time. Yeah.
What do you do to get yourself there?
Well, one thing is, if I'm really stuck, I steal. So I put other things in. I work like a music editor. I put other music in there and see what it does to the scene and see if it's doing a thing and what that thing is. And then unbelievably, that will make me start feeling a thing. And then unbelievably, that will make me start hearing something. The biggest impediment is when you are worried, what happens is that you start getting stopped up and then you get freaked out about getting stopped up.
Mm.
And then that freak out is usually you center it on how much of a failure you are, because that's what I do. I think most people, it's like, oh God,
I can't do it.
I can't do, I'm never going to I'm never going to get here. I'm
Yeah.
never going to. By the way, in every film, in every project I've ever done, I've had a moment where I thought there's no possible way I'm going to get this. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. So, and so for people who get to that point and think, oh yeah, I'm sure John Williams never feels this. I'm positive John Williams feels it in every project that he does. I bet you everybody feels it. It's just part of the process of having this gigantic thing sitting in front of you, and you are just a human, and you just and it's not bad. It's not bad when you feel like I can't do it. That's the thing. We think all of those things are bad. Mostly we like to create out of plenitude, sort of out of overflow. But that's not always the way the creation works. Sometimes it comes out from from something that's really constricted and really restricted, and it just ekes out, and you have to find it, and you have to follow that, and you have to keep following it, and then it will open itself up. You just have to keep following it. To me, writing music is just fucking following. It's just following. We just follow. I hear the thing, or I'm feel or something. I'm part of this vectorial activity. I'm just being, I mean, there's stuff going on. I'm going along with it. And it just so happens that my way of going along with it has music in it. That's just I guess how I am, and also how I practice it to be. I practice it a lot, like a lot. I've written thousands of hours of music. Is that possible? More than 1,000 hours of music. Somewhere less than maybe 3 or 4 thousand hours. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of music. I've just done it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make any sense?
Yep. Yep. Everything you're explaining to me makes sense. I don't know if it would make sense to non-music writers.
Right. Well, that's the
But
thing. So, right. And it might not. And so this is not for them. So too bad. You guys, we don't care about you. We care
they'll
about.
never understand.
No, no. I bet you would. I think that everybody, see, I also have this other thing,
Mhm.
which is that I think that hearing music is the same thing as writing music. That is, what you do when you hear music is that you follow the music. And what you do when you write music is that you follow the music. That is, so that the thing that's going on, that's the music of the music, which is this pull. The music is like this pull. It pulls thing. It's like it's coming from here and it's going. And that thing, that's the music of whatever that means. And that when you listen to that, that's what happens when you write, because you just transcribe. I mean, you're just doing dictation basically, or some kind of version of dictation. And then on the other side, when you're listening to it, you are imagining what the music is doing. So you're doing you're doing the same thing. There isn't really a difference.
Hmm.
And so that's why I think that hearing music, that's why I sort of think that when I teach music, I teach it like, well, kind of how I learned it, as I'm listening.
Hmm.
I mean, that's what I learned. Wilma Kopecky, you know, uh, Croxford, the head of the school. I mean, these guys would, they taught by listen. You listen and you, oh yeah, that's a third. Oh, that's that other third. Oh, that's what that sounds like. It sounds like this. And you learned it and you could hear it, and that's how you wrote it. I mean, when you took your lessons and you did, 6/4 chords, and you did all that 4-part writing and you wrote it all down, you did that without really. I mean, I didn't listen to it, but I listened to the top line in my head. Sometimes I listened to the bottom line, but I just knew it had to go there. But even so, I mean, I think that's what you do. And so And I think that people make the process overly precious, and they make it more mysterious by obfuscating it. It's super mysterious, but I think it's bad when we obfuscate it, when we try to make it something that's really for only these people. Only these people can do this. It's not true. Everybody does it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just like, it's like being a muscle man. Like those guys who are muscle men, they are like, not now anybody sort of can be a muscle man. You just have to do all the work to be a muscle man. Then you too can get like those huge muscles. That's what we are. Musicians are these weird, freakish things where we have all these undeveloped parts of ourselves. And then there's one part it's like incredibly developed, It's like a super big used muscle. That's what I think.
So my last question is, how many instruments can you actually play?
Can I play? Well, I can play a lot of stringed instruments. So I have a lot of stringed instruments. So I don't know what you can see. But can you see there's a bunch of guitar kind of things over there? I don't know if you can see. Yeah. But I play if it has strings on it, I can play it except for violin and violoncello because I don't know how to bow. So but I can play mandolin and mandola and all those things. And I have those things. I can play anything that has a keyboard on it. And I can play pitch percussion instruments. Because I learned those. I mean, it's not like you have to. It's not really special. Like but I mean, I don't know how to play four mallet or anything like that, but I can kind of do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I do that. Basically anything you can hit, I think I can play. But I have a lot of instruments, and so I record a lot,
Mm-hmm.
so I can play a lot. What I can't play wind instruments. I don't know how to play any wind instruments at all. I know a lot about them. I love people who play them. I love to see them play them. I love to learn about how they play them. So
Thank you so much for coming on to the podcast today. I hope you enjoyed answering the questions as much as
well,
I
thank you.
enjoyed.
And now I need to listen to how all the other people answered your questions. So I'm very interested in what this podcast actually is all about. So I'm going to try to find and listen to them all.
Sounds
Okay.
good. Hopefully you'll enjoy it.
I will, I'm sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope you enjoyed today's interview and listening to Sheldon's expansive thoughts on music, composing, and everything in between. Make sure to subscribe to know when the next episode is out, and I will see you next time on The Composer's Life.